There's a moment in life when you realize that playing it safe, trying to please everyone, and doing a little bit of everything is the exact reason you're still standing in the same place. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they're scattered. Their mind is everywhere but never locked on the one thing that truly matters. They chase balance, not excellence. And balance, my friend, is the silent killer of greatness. You see, balance sounds wise, it sounds mature, it even sounds healthy. But when you look closer, balance often means mediocrity disguised as wisdom. People use it as an excuse to stay comfortable. They say, I just want balance in my life, when what they really mean is, I don't want to give too much to anything. But success doesn't come to those who give a little bit of themselves to everything. It comes to those who give everything of themselves to something. Every person who ever built something meaningful, whether it was a business, a legacy, or a better version of themselves, went through a season where balance didn't exist. They were focused. They sacrificed comfort for progress. They said no to distractions, no to the noise, no to the easy road. While everyone else was looking for shortcuts, they were building discipline. While everyone else was chasing pleasure, they were chasing mastery. And this is what most people don't want to hear. You can't have a balanced life and an extraordinary one at the same time. You can't want to be great and still live like the average. There's a cost to focus, but the reward is freedom. Freedom from confusion, from wasted time, from aimless living. When you focus, you start to move with direction. You wake up with purpose. You know what deserves your energy and what doesn't. The truth is, life doesn't reward balance. It rewards clarity. It rewards consistency. It rewards those who decide what they want and go after it with everything they've got. Because once you're focused, your life changes pace. You start making real progress. You start feeling alive again. So today I want to wake you up. Stop chasing balance like it's the secret to happiness. It's not. The real secret is focus. Sharp, steady, disciplined focus. The kind that makes you forget what time it is because you're so deeply locked into your mission. The kind that turns ordinary people into legends. The world doesn't need more balanced people. It needs more focused ones. People who know what they want, who refuse to be distracted, and who show up every single day ready to move the needle. If you want to change your life, start here. Stop spreading yourself thin. Stop trying to keep everything equal. Choose your path. Pour your energy into it. Protect it, feed it, and stay with it until it rewards you. Because when you finally trade balance for focus, you stop living small and you start living with power, purpose, and conviction. That's where transformation begins. Number one, balance is overrated. Clarity is what you need. There's a popular idea floating around that you should always strive for balance in life. People talk about it like it's the ultimate key to happiness. Balance your work, your family, your health, your dreams. Balance your rest and your hustle. Balance everything. And while that sounds nice, the truth is, balance often becomes an excuse for not going all in. It's a word people use when they're afraid of committing fully to something. Because when you go all in, you lose balance. You give your time, your attention, your energy, your focus to something that truly matters. That's how progress is made. That's how change happens. Not from balance, but from clarity. When you have clarity about what you want, balance stops being the goal. You start to see what's essential and what's not. You stop juggling everything just to feel safe and start cutting out what doesn't serve you. Clarity means knowing exactly what direction you're going in, what truly matters, and what deserves your attention right now. You can't balance everything, but you can prioritize what counts. Most people live their lives trying to keep everything in the middle, afraid of tipping too far in one direction. But the ones who build extraordinary lives are the ones who lean in fully. They sacrifice temporary comfort for long-term growth. They give up small pleasures for greater rewards. If you want to build something meaningful, you have to stop chasing the idea of a perfectly balanced life and start building a clearly directed one. No. You can't wake up every day and give equal effort to everything. That's not how real growth works. Sometimes your work needs you more. Sometimes your health needs more of your time. Sometimes your relationships need your full presence. The key is not balance, it's awareness. Awareness of what matters most right now, and the courage to give it everything you've got. Balance sounds peaceful, but too much peace leads to stagnation. Growth requires discomfort. It requires imbalance. When you start a business, there's no balance. When you're learning a new skill, there's no balance. When you're transforming your life, there's no balance. You sacrifice sleep, leisure, and sometimes even comfort because you're chasing something that matters, and that's okay. The season of imbalance is what prepares you for success. You can rest later when you've built the foundation. You can slow down once the work has paid off, but right now you need focus. Clarity gives you that focus. It tells you what to say yes to and what to walk away from. It keeps you from wasting time on meaningless distractions. It reminds you that not everything deserves your attention. When your goals are clear, you stop second-guessing yourself. You stop worrying about what people think. You stop chasing every new opportunity that looks shiny. You stay centered on your mission. That's how real success is built, by having a clear reason why you're doing what you're doing and staying committed to it, even when it gets hard. Some people spend years trying to balance everything because they're afraid of disappointing others. They don't want to seem selfish. But sometimes you have to be a little selfish to become who you're meant to be. You have to choose your path, even if others don't understand it. You can't live your life trying to please everyone and expect to reach your potential. Clarity makes that easier. When you know your purpose, you stop explaining yourself. You stop apologizing for focusing on your goals. You move differently. You speak differently. You make decisions faster. The truth is, balance feels safe because it keeps you in control, but life doesn't reward safety. It rewards clarity in action. When you're clear, you can endure challenges because you know why you're doing it. You can stay patient because you trust your direction. You can handle criticism because you're confident in your vision. Without clarity, even small challenges will make you doubt yourself. You'll quit when things get hard. You'll jump from one thing to another, chasing the illusion of balance, never finding real fulfillment. Every great achievement starts with a season of imbalance, when everything else fades into the background and your focus sharpens on one thing. That season changes you. It builds your discipline, your patience, your belief. And when you come out of it, you're stronger. Then you can rebuild your balance. But it will be a stronger balance, one that's earned through clarity, not comfort. You don't need to balance your dreams with your fears. You need to silence your fears and move toward your dreams. You don't need to balance your ambitions with your comfort zone. You need to step out of comfort and live where growth happens. You don't need to balance what people expect from you with what you expect from yourself. You need to honor what's inside you, the goals, the hunger, the vision that's been calling you all along. The reason so many people feel stuck is because they've been told to do everything in moderation. Work a little, rest a little, dream a little, live a little. And that's exactly why their lives stay little. They never go deep enough to master anything. They never focus long enough to see results. You can't live your best life by dabbling in everything. You have to commit. You have to go deep. You have to be willing to be unbalanced for a while so you can build something real. When you know what matters, your days stop feeling scattered. Your actions start to align with your purpose. Every decision feels simpler because you have a guiding principle behind it. You're not chasing balance anymore. You're pursuing meaning. You wake up with direction. You move with intention. You feel alive again because clarity gives you power. So stop worrying about balancing everything perfectly. That's not the goal. The goal is to find what deserves your full energy and give it everything you've got. Because when you're clear, you don't need balance, you need focus. And once you find that kind of clarity, your whole life begins to shift. You start to see results. You start to feel proud. You start to live on purpose. That's when you realize the truth. Balance keeps you comfortable, but clarity makes you unstoppable. Number 2, focus creates momentum. Balance kills it. When you study people who have achieved remarkable success, you'll notice one thing they all have in common. They were completely absorbed by their goal. They weren't balancing 10 different things at once. They were focused. That focus gave them momentum, and that momentum changed everything. You can't move powerfully toward anything if your attention is divided. Energy flows where your attention goes, and when your attention is scattered, your energy weakens. You end up starting many things but finishing none. Focus, on the other hand, makes progress visible. It makes results tangible. It makes small efforts compound into something extraordinary. People who talk about balance often end up spending their lives juggling tasks that don't move them forward. They're busy but not productive. They're active but not advancing. They spend their days checking off boxes, trying to maintain a comfortable routine, but deep down, they know they're not growing. They want progress, but progress doesn't come from balance. It comes from intensity. The kind of intensity that comes from being locked in on a single mission. That's how you build momentum. Momentum is that invisible force that keeps you moving, even when you're tired. It's what turns hard work into habit and habit into results. But it doesn't show up until you stayed consistent long enough. Focus is what gets you there. Every time you give your full attention to one thing, you're building speed, you're building rhythm, you're building momentum. The moment you start dividing your focus, checking your phone, chasing new opportunities, saying yes to things that don't matter, you kill that rhythm. You interrupt the flow. That's why balance can quietly destroy progress. Think about how life works. When you start something new, a business, a skill, a fitness journey, it's slow at first. You feel resistance, you have doubts, you question yourself. That's the hardest part. And if you chase balance during that phase, you'll quit before you gain momentum. You'll want to rest before you've even earned it. But if you stay focused, something incredible happens. After a while, your actions start to compound. The work you did yesterday begins to support the work you do today. You start to notice results. You start to feel growth. That's momentum taking over. The danger with balance is that it tells you it's okay to slow down too soon. It whispers that you've done enough when you've barely started. It convinces you to take your foot off the gas before you've built the speed you need to succeed. Focus doesn't do that. Focus tells you to keep going even when it's uncomfortable. It keeps you sharp when distractions try to pull you away. It gives you the stamina to stay committed long enough to reach the turning point where everything starts to work in your favor. Most people lose because they stop too early. They get close to the breakthrough, but then they pause for balance. They say they need a break, they need rest, they need to find themselves. But what they really need is focus. Rest doesn't rejuvenate someone who's not clear about what they're working toward. It only makes them more lost. But when you're focused, even your rest has purpose. You rest to recharge, not to escape. You rest to prepare for more progress, not to avoid the work. When you're deeply focused, you begin to see opportunities others can't. Your mind becomes sharper. You start connecting ideas. You notice patterns. You sense the right moves to make. That's the beauty of momentum. It heightens your awareness. You begin to think faster, act smarter, and move stronger. You start becoming the kind of person who doesn't just dream about success, but actually lives it. Focus doesn't mean you ignore everything else in your life forever. It means for a period of time, you give something your full energy. It's about seasons. There are seasons for growth, seasons for building, seasons for rest. But if you try to balance them all equally all the time, you'll never enter the deep work that real progress requires. Momentum needs immersion, it needs commitment, it needs long stretches of uninterrupted effort. That's where breakthroughs happen. Focus also demands that you say no. A lot. You'll have to turn down things that look good but don't serve your vision. You'll have to miss out on some comfort, some entertainment, some noise, but every no strengthens your momentum. Every distraction you avoid is another step forward. Balance tries to make room for everything. Focus makes room for only what matters, and that's why one creates momentum while the other destroys it. When you have momentum, small wins start stacking up. One success leads to another. You begin to feel proud, confident, and unstoppable. That's the point where success starts to chase you instead of the other way around. You become more efficient. You accomplish in a week what used to take a month. Your confidence builds, your discipline grows, and your standards rise. That's the reward of staying focused long enough for momentum to take over. You have to remember, balance feels safe, but leads to slow progress. Focus feels risky, but leads to transformation. You can live your life walking carefully on a line, or you can sprint toward what you want with everything you have. One keeps you steady, the other moves you forward. You have to decide which one you want, more comfort or change, because you can't have both. When you give your full attention to what matters, life starts to reward you faster. People notice your consistency. Opportunities begin to find you. You start to attract what aligns with your focus. And soon, what felt impossible begins to feel natural. That's not balance at work. That's focus turning into momentum. So, if you want to see your life move forward, stop chasing the perfect balance. It doesn't exist. Choose focus instead. Focus on what you want to build. Focus on who you want to become. Focus on the few things that matter most and give them your best energy every single day. Because once focus creates momentum, there's nothing that can stop you. Number 3, eliminate distractions and protect your energy. Every day, your attention is being pulled in 100 different directions. Notifications, conversations, endless scrolling, and constant noise. The world around you is designed to steal your focus. It's designed to keep you busy but not productive, entertained but not fulfilled, active but not advancing. If you're not careful, you'll end up giving your best energy to things that don't matter. And by the time you realize it, you'll be too drained to chase what truly does. That's why the ability to eliminate distractions and protect your energy is just useful. It's essential if you want to create real success. Distractions are the enemy of greatness. They disguise themselves as harmless, but every time you give in to one, it costs you something. It costs you time, attention, momentum, and sometimes even your confidence. Every notification you check, every conversation that goes nowhere, every minute you spend scrolling through someone else's life, all of it drains the energy that could have built your own. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or potential. They fail because they never learn to protect their focus. Your mind is like a battery, and every distraction you allow drains it a little more. The problem is, most people wake up already surrounded by things pulling at their attention. The phone beside their bed, the endless news updates, the messages waiting to be answered. It all begins before they even take their first breath of the morning air. If you start your day giving your attention away, you'll spend the rest of the day trying to get it back. That's why you need to create boundaries for your focus. You have to train your mind to work for you, not against you. Protecting your energy starts with understanding what drains it. Certain people, habits, and environments quietly steal your power. You don't even realize how much it affects you until you step away from it. Some people leave you feeling inspired, others leave you feeling empty. Some conversations build you up, others wear you down. You need to become aware of which is which. Not everyone deserves access to your attention. Not every situation. Your time and energy are currency. Spend them only where the return is worth it. When you cut out distractions, life starts to slow down in the best way. Your thoughts become clearer. Your emotions become calmer. You stop reacting to everything and start responding with intention. You start noticing how much time you actually have when you're not wasting it. The truth is, it's not that people don't have enough time. It's that they spend it on too many meaningless things. If you could track where your attention goes, you'd realize how much of your life is spent on things that don't push you closer to your goals. Protecting your energy also means choosing peace over noise. You can't create when you're constantly consumed by chaos. You can't grow when you're overstimulated. Silence has power because it allows you to think. It helps you listen to your own thoughts, your own needs, your own ideas. But in a world addicted to noise, silence feels uncomfortable. That's why most people never find clarity. They're too distracted to hear their own potential calling them. When you protect your energy, you make space for that inner voice again. You reconnect with your purpose. Discipline plays a big role here. You can't expect focus to stay strong if you allow your environment to stay chaotic. You need routines that serve your mind. You need spaces that support your growth. You need habits that protect your peace. For example, if your phone distracts you, move it away when you're working. If certain people drain you, limit your time with them. If certain habits make you feel empty, replace them with ones that build you. Success isn't just about doing more, it's about doing less of what doesn't matter. Every time you say no to a distraction, you're saying yes to your growth. You're training your brain to value what's important. You're proving to yourself that your focus is stronger than your impulses. The more you practice this, the more energy you'll have for the things that actually matter. Your goals, your health, your relationships, your peace of mind. You'll start to notice that your days feel lighter, yet more productive. That's what happens when your energy is directed instead of scattered. One of the most powerful things you can do is guard your mornings. The way you start your day determines how you live it. If you wake up and immediately check your phone, you're starting your day with other people's priorities. You'll react instead of creating. But if you take that first hour for yourself to think, to plan, to work, to grow, you set the tone. You take control. You begin your day on your terms. And that simple shift changes everything. Protecting your energy isn't selfish. It's necessary. You can't pour into your goals, your family, or your future if you're constantly running on empty. When your energy is scattered, your results are scattered. When your energy is protected, your life becomes powerful. It's not about living in isolation. It's about being intentional with what you give your time and focus to. You owe it to yourself to build a life that's not driven by distractions, but directed by purpose. Every day, you'll have to choose between distraction and direction, between noise and clarity, between comfort and progress. Those small choices decide how far you go. You don't have to do everything, but you must protect the few things that matter. You must guard your focus like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. When you eliminate distractions, you stop living reactively and start living intentionally. You stop chasing everything and start building something. That's how you create momentum. That's how you protect your peace. And that's how you turn your potential into real results. In the end, the difference between a person who lives with purpose and one who doesn't isn't talent, luck, or opportunity. One protects it, the other gives it away. The one who protects it ends up creating a life they're proud of. Number 4, master one thing until it changes everything. Most people never reach their full potential because they keep switching directions before mastering anything. They start something, get excited, face a challenge, lose patience, and move on to something else. And they live in a constant loop of starting over. And that's the problem. You can't grow if you're always beginning again. Real success doesn't come from dabbling in everything. It comes from mastery. It comes from focusing on one thing long enough to become exceptional at it. Mastery changes everything because it builds confidence. When you get good at one thing, you start believing in yourself on a different level. You begin to realize what you're truly capable of. It shows you that discipline and focus can turn you into someone powerful. You stop seeing yourself as average and start seeing yourself as someone with control over your future. But you'll never feel that power if you keep spreading your energy too thin. Every time you divide your attention, you delay your progress. In the beginning, mastery feels boring. It's repetitive, it's quiet, it's not exciting, like starting something new. You'll have moments when you wonder if it's even worth it. But if you stay consistent, you'll notice something amazing. The things that once felt difficult start to feel natural. You move faster, you think clearer, you make fewer mistakes, you begin to enjoy the process. That's when you know you're improving. The early stages of mastery test your patience. The later stages reward your practice. You have to be willing to stay with something long enough for it to transform you. Too many people quit right before the breakthrough. They don't realize that the gap between where they are and where they want to be is often just a few more months of focused effort. The mind always craves novelty. It wants change. It wants variety. But the soul craves mastery. It wants depth, growth, and fulfillment. And you only find that when you stick with something long enough to see it evolve. When you master one thing, it spills over into other areas of your life. The habits you build, the discipline you develop, the patience you learn, they all transfer. Mastering a skill teaches you how to think, how to adapt, how to endure. It teaches you how to approach life with precision. You start realizing that success isn't about doing everything. It's about doing one thing so well that it impacts everything else. That's the real power of mastery. It doesn't matter what you choose, your business, your craft, your body, your communication, your mindset. What matters is commitment. Once you decide what you want to master, give it your full attention. Learn deeply. Practice daily. Study those who've done it better. Push yourself through the dull moments. Because once you cross that invisible line between average and exceptional, everything changes. You'll find that people begin to respect your work, opportunities start to find you, and life starts rewarding your consistency. When you master something, you don't just get better at it, you become someone new. You start to see life differently. You carry yourself differently. You approach challenges differently. The level of calm you develop, the control you gain, and the belief you build are priceless. You realize that the process itself is the reward. The focus it takes to master one thing reshapes your mindset. You start valuing depth over speed, substance over appearance, and progress over perfection. The biggest trap in today's world is the illusion of variety. We have so many options, so much noise, so many things competing for our attention that we end up spreading ourselves across everything and mastering nothing. But the truth is, mastery has no competition. When you become great at something, you separate yourself from the crowd. You no longer compete. You stand out, not because you talk about what you want to do, but because you've proven it through results. To master one thing, you'll have to say no to many others. You'll have to sacrifice comfort, You'll have to turn down distractions that look appealing. You'll have to resist the temptation of shortcuts. Because shortcuts rob you of growth. The long path teaches you lessons that the easy path never will. Every time you fail, every time you struggle, every time you repeat something for the 100th time, you're not wasting effort. You're laying bricks for greatness. That's what mastery is, the accumulation of effort over time until skill becomes second nature. The moment you start to master something, the world starts noticing your discipline. People begin to trust your work. Your name starts to carry weight. That's not because you got lucky. It's because you stayed long enough for your results to speak for themselves. That's how influence is built. That's how authority is earned, through mastery, not balance, through persistence, not variety. There's something deeply satisfying about being excellent at what you do. It gives you peace. It gives you confidence. It gives you options, because when you've mastered something, you can take that skill anywhere. You can rebuild, reinvent, and recreate yourself at any point. You're not dependent on luck anymore. You're equipped with ability. You've built something within yourself that no one can take away. That's what mastery does. It gives you control over your destiny. So stop trying to do everything. Pick one thing and go all in. Stay long enough to get good. Stay consistent long enough to see results. Stay patient long enough to build mastery. Because once you master one thing, it will open doors you never even knew existed. It will change how you see yourself, how you see life, and how life responds to you. Mastery doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you become. And when you become someone who finishes what they start, who focuses deeply, and who refuses to give up, success becomes inevitable. Number 5, build a life around purpose, not balance. The idea of balance sounds comforting, but it's often misleading. Many people chase balance because they think it will bring peace, but what they really need is purpose. Balance is about trying to keep everything equal, while purpose is about knowing what truly matters and giving it the attention it deserves. Balance spreads your energy evenly across everything, but purpose directs your energy toward what gives life meaning. The people who live with purpose don't wake up asking how to not balance their day. They wake up knowing what's worth their time. When your life is built around purpose, everything begins to make sense. You stop trying to please everyone. You stop wasting time on things that don't align with your goals. You stop feeling torn between what you want and what others expect. Purpose simplifies your life because it gives you direction. It helps you know when to say yes and when to walk away. It keeps you grounded when life gets noisy. And most importantly, it gives you a reason to keep going when things get hard. People who chase balance often find themselves constantly adjusting, but never arriving. They're always trying to make everything fit perfectly. Their career, relationships, health, happiness, but life doesn't work like that. Something will always require more attention. There will always be seasons where one area demands more of you. Purpose allows you to accept that without guilt. When you live with purpose, you understand that temporary imbalance is okay when it serves a greater goal. You can't live a meaningful life if everything is equal. The truth is, not everything in life deserves the same amount of attention. Some things are worth sacrificing for. Some things are worth losing sleep over. Some things deserve your all. That's what purpose does. It helps you identify what those things are. Balance will tell you to divide your time equally between work and rest. But purpose will tell you when to work harder because you're building something important. Balance tells you to slow down. Purpose tells you when to keep pushing. One keeps you comfortable, the other makes you grow. Purpose also gives you action. When you're driven by something that matters deeply to you, you don't burn out the same way. You might get tired, but you don't quit. You find energy you didn't know you had. You stay disciplined even when motivation fades. That's because purpose fuels persistence. Balance can't do that. Balance is about managing effort, while purpose is about channeling passion. And passion, when aligned with purpose, can carry you through the toughest storms. When you live without purpose, you drift. You wake up, go through the motions, check boxes, and still feel empty. You might look successful on the outside, but feel lost on the inside. That's because balance without direction is just motion without meaning. Purpose gives your motion meaning. It gives your work significance. It gives your life substance. It transforms effort into progress and progress into fulfillment. Building a life around purpose requires self-awareness. You have to know what you value most, what impact you want to make, and what kind of person you want to become. You can't copy someone else's path because their purpose isn't yours. You have to take time to understand what drives you, what excites you, and what feels right deep within you. Once you find it, protect it. Make your decisions around it. Build your routines around it. Let it guide how you spend your time, who you surround yourself with, and what you give your energy to. It also demands courage. Because once you find it, you'll realize it won't always fit society's definition of balance. Some people will misunderstand your choices. They'll think you're obsessed or too focused or missing out. But obsession is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Those who follow purpose understand that focus isn't something to be ashamed of. It's something to be proud of. You're not ignoring life, you're building it intentionally. When your life revolves around purpose, balance becomes a natural byproduct, not a goal. You don't have to chase it because you've already aligned your actions with what matters most. You're no longer pulled in different directions. You're moving in one clear direction. You may still have challenges, but they don't shake you the same way because you know why you're doing what you're doing. You know the mission behind the work. You know the story you're trying to write. The truth is, balance without purpose is emptiness disguised as peace. It might make your schedule look neat, but it won't fulfill your heart. Purpose gives you something balance never can. A reason to live with fire, even when life gets hard. It gives your struggles meaning and your sacrifices value. It's what makes the long hours, the hard work, and the discipline worth it. Without it, you're just existing. With it, you're truly living. So if you want a life that feels alive, stop chasing balance and start building around purpose. Choose something worth dedicating your time and energy to decide what matters most and organize your life around it. Because when your life is driven by purpose, every effort feels meaningful. Every challenge becomes growth. Every day becomes a step towards something that matters. Balance may keep you comfortable, but purpose will make you fulfilled. And at the end of it all, fulfillment is what you'll remember. Not how balanced your days were, but how purposefully you lived them. Now let me tell you something, my friend. You don't need balance right now. You need focus. You don't need to spread yourself across 20 different things, hoping one of them will work. You need to dig deep into the one thing that truly matters, the one thing that will change everything else. Balance will come later, once your focus has paid off. Balance is the reward for the disciplined, not the comfort of the distracted. When you're climbing the mountain, you don't stop halfway to enjoy the view. You keep climbing. You push harder, you breathe heavier. And once you reach the top, then you enjoy the balance, the peace, the view you worked for. So stop trying to do it all. Stop trying to please everyone. Stop trying to look like you have it all figured out. Focus on the thing that will move your life forward. Pour every ounce of your energy into it. Because life doesn't reward the one who tries everything. It rewards the one who masters something. And remember this, Success doesn't come to those who are balanced in all things. It comes to those who are obsessed, disciplined, and laser-focused on the mission in front of them. When you win, when you build something great, when you finally achieve what you've been chasing, that's when you'll earn your balance. Until then, get focused, stay focused, and don't stop until your vision becomes your reality. Because the moment you focus, everything changes, your energy changes, your confidence changes, your results change. So today, not tomorrow, not next week, today, pick your focus, guard it with everything you've got, and let the world see what happens when a man or woman refuses to be distracted. Because that's when life bends to your will. That's when destiny answers your call. You don't need balance, you need focus. And once you master that, balance will come looking for you.